So, as Henrietta said, this is ongoing work on starting with the watersheds and a little bit of just the concept of water and how it could act as a platform to connect a lot of the different issues that we're trying to appoint. Starting with the general kind of structure of just mapping and overlaying mapping and seeing what we can read through them, and then connecting it to maybe mining and lifestyle regulations, agriculture. Some of the major rivers in India that you probably know about. These are the main watersheds that flow through India. The biggest one being the Ganges, starting in the Himalayas, coming out in the Bay of Bengal, and well, Goa is not so prominent in this particular case. But as you zoom in, you can tell that it's a very much analogous structure, and it has its own systems of watersheds as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is the particular one for the Mandovi River that we're going to look into a little bit further. This is in relationship to the talukas. It's interesting that within the one watershed of the Mandovi, it shares, legislation with six of them. So it's and it happens with most of the boundaries with the rest of them. This is a little more detailed, zooming in a little more to that Mandovi river watershed, and you can see that it goes all the way up to the Western Ghats. These lines, as you know, they're the water divide lines, so meaning like if it rains in this particular area, one drop of water would roll onto this stream and come out on one side, and one drop of water would roll onto this other stream and come out on the other river. So there's very defined boundaries that, up to like mountain ridges and slopes that zigzag throughout the terrain. Yeah, that zigzag throughout the terrain with quite some accuracy, just based on gravity. So yeah, here you can see a little bit of that breakthrough, and we're going to zoom in a little bit into that zone. You can tell that there's a specific, as Raoul mentioned, arrangement of the settlements according to strategic placement related to the water. And in this particular example, it could be seen almost as a fractal kind of a structure that could be endlessly zoom in to these water divide lines that keep defining like one watershed within the next and within the next. And this is just a question to think about. Maybe could these watersheds help define a new governance structure if we were to say that, for example, these towns would take certain responsibility for the particular area of the watershed, and they would be connected with the people downstream who depend on this water, and maybe receive incentives for managing it, these particular areas, and therefore be like self-governing kind of a system. It could be looked further into. And then relating it to a few other issues, in this particular case, climate change, and that's a broad topic, but I mean, we just took a few images from some modeling programs that show rising sea levels, again, Mandovi and Panaji, and in this case it's as is. We were trying to interpret these dots as possible fluctuations due to monsoon rain and rising and lowering tides. Then this is, I guess, what could happen if it rises 1 meter. 1 meter. So you can see a little bit of a difference. It's apparently, in the last 10 years, it's risen from about 0.5 millimeter to around 4, according to Wikipedia. But within the next 100 years, it could rise up to yeah, from half a meter to like 80 centimeters. And then we have the +2 version, just to see, you know, kind of a trend in that. Yeah, this is, of course, 2 major issues to be paired with, and you can go forward on that. Again, the Mondovi Taluk, the Mondovi watershed, and this is taken from Sweet Land of Mine book, and it shows, very hard to see the mining lease map, but they'll be more in detail a little later. But anyways, they stretch all throughout this strip of land, and then it's quite. Yep, here you can see the watershed, the water divide lines that feed that whole system, and these are the active mines. These should be filled in, but those are the active mine leases that eventually affect all water from here down, as they would say, cutting the lifelines, as Ramesh was saying. This is the mining belt, or a very rough sketch of the mining belt. So you can see it's quite a large area. And this is an overlay of the full extent of the mining leases compared to the ones being used. So, and this is in relationship to the wildlife sanctuaries. And again, the mining's being active. This is an overlay of the mining belt versus the sanctuaries, obviously in conflict. And this is also from Sweet Land of Mine, which is, has a lot more detailed information on the plots themselves, intruding into a proposal to have a buffer zone in between the wildlife zones of 3 and 5 kilometers. At least 3 of these mining leases are in the wildlife zones, which are not to be touched by the head government. So it's in clear violation, and it's apparently they've let this go on legally. And here you can see this one is in the border. I guess it's that one. This one's between the, yeah, you can see the 3 and the 5. Anyways, it's quite shocking information to some degree. That's pretty much it for the sheds. Yeah, so we intend to connect this to as many more issues ongoing as we further our studies. Thank you.